The morning of September 11, 2001, began like countless others across America. Millions of people woke up expecting an ordinary day. Office workers rushed toward train stations. Business executives reviewed schedules. Flight attendants welcomed passengers aboard. Aircraft preparing for routine departures. Families said goodbye to loved ones without realizing those moments would become their last. The skies were clear. The nation was calm, and hidden beneath that calm was a danger that a small number of people had already begun to fear. Because months before the attacks, fragments of intelligence had been appearing inside classified reports. Warnings, signals, conversations, suspicious movements, pieces of a puzzle that no one fully understood. And when investigators later looked back, one haunting question would emerge above all others. Could September 11 have been prevented? The answer remains one of the most controversial questions in modern American history. To understand what happened, we must go back years before the towers fell. Throughout the 1990s, American intelligence agencies were tracking a growing threat, a militant network led by a Saudi-born extremist named Osama bin Laden. His organization, Al-Qaeda, had already demonstrated its willingness to attack American interests. Bombings, threats, and intelligence reports repeatedly pointed toward a movement, becoming more dangerous and more ambitious. Yet understanding a threat and stopping it are two very different things. Inside the FBI, CIA, and other agencies, analysts worked tirelessly to collect information. Some officers became increasingly alarmed. Reports suggested that Al-Qaeda was not simply targeting American facilities overseas. It might be preparing something much larger, something unprecedented. But intelligence rarely arrives as a complete story. It arrives as fragments. A suspicious meeting here, an intercepted communication there, a travel record, a financial transaction, a warning from a foreign government. Individually, these pieces often appear insignificant. The challenge is recognizing their meaning before tragedy occurs. Throughout 2000 and into 2001, concern grew among some intelligence officials. Information suggested increased Al-Qaeda activity. Certain communications indicated major operations might be underway. The problem was uncertainty. No one knew exactly when. No one knew exactly where. No one knew exactly how. The threat appeared real, but the details remained hidden. And hidden threats are among the most difficult challenges intelligence agencies face. Inside CIA headquarters, analysts struggled to connect the dots. Inside FBI field offices, agents pursued investigations involving suspected extremists. Inside government buildings, briefings circulated among senior officials. Yet information often remained trapped within separate systems. Different agencies collected different pieces. Different offices possessed different perspectives. The picture was incomplete, and time was running out. One warning after another appeared. Some were vague, some were specific, some proved false. Others would later seem chillingly relevant. Intelligence officers became accustomed to dealing with constant threats. Most warnings never resulted in attacks. If governments responded aggressively to every threat report, daily operations would become impossible. This reality created a dangerous challenge. How do you identify the one warning that matters among thousands that do not? That question haunted investigators before September 11th, and it continues to haunt historians today. During the summer of 2001, concern intensified dramatically. Multiple intelligence reports suggested an attack might be approaching. Officials described the threat environment as unusually alarming. Some analysts believed Al-Qaeda was entering the final stages of planning, yet critical details remained missing. Without specifics, preventing an attack became extraordinarily difficult. Authorities could increase vigilance. They could monitor suspects. They could issue warnings, but stopping an unknown plot required identifying targets, methods, and operatives. Those pieces remained frustratingly out of reach. As August arrived, new intelligence continued to emerge. Discussions occurred inside government agencies. Briefings reached senior officials. Questions multiplied. What exactly was Al-Qaeda planning? Where would they strike? How much time remained? No one could answer with confidence. The uncertainty created a sense of urgency, yet urgency alone does not produce solutions. Meanwhile, the attackers continued preparing, moving quietly, avoiding attention, waiting. The most terrifying threats are often the ones that appear ordinary, until the moment they reveal themselves. And on the morning of September 11th, that moment arrived. Shortly after dawn, passengers boarded 4 commercial airliners. Airport security procedures reflected a different era. The possibility of coordinated suicide, hijackings involving passenger aircraft was not widely anticipated. The planes departed. Crew members performed routine duties. Passengers settled into seats. Everything appeared normal. Then the situation changed. Communication disruptions emerged. Flight crews stopped responding. Controllers noticed unusual activity. At first, confusion dominated. Technical problems occur. Radio failures happen. Aircraft occasionally experience unexpected difficulties. But as minutes passed, concern grew. Something was wrong. Very wrong. Inside air traffic control facilities, personnel worked frantically to understand unfolding events. Information arrived in fragments. Reports contradicted one another. The situation evolved faster than anyone could fully comprehend. Then came the moment that changed everything. At 8:46 a.m., a hijacked aircraft struck the North Tower of the World Trade Center. Millions watched in disbelief. Television networks interrupted programming. Experts speculated about accidents, mechanical failures, pilot error. Almost nobody understood the truth. Not yet. The images were shocking. A burning skyscraper, smoke pouring into the sky, confusion spreading across the city. Emergency responders rushed toward danger. Police officers, firefighters, paramedics. Thousands of ordinary people attempted to escape. Many still believed the disaster was accidental. Then, 17 minutes later, the illusion shattered. A second aircraft struck the South Tower. The world instantly understood this was no accident. America was under attack. Panic spread. Government officials scrambled for information. Military commanders demanded answers. Intelligence agencies searched desperately for clues. Who was responsible? Were additional attacks coming? How many aircraft had been hijacked? No one knew. The uncertainty was terrifying. Inside the White House, officials confronted a rapidly evolving national emergency. Inside military command centers, leaders considered unprecedented defensive measures. Inside intelligence agencies, analysts raced to identify those responsible. Meanwhile, events continued unfolding. At the Pentagon, another hijacked aircraft slammed into the building. The symbolic heart of American military power had been struck. Thousands of miles away, ordinary citizens watched the attacks live on television. Many could not believe what they were seeing. Others feared worse was still coming. And in many ways, they were right. Because no one knew whether additional attacks remained underway. Every report generated alarm. Every rumor demanded investigation. The country had entered a state of uncertainty, unlike anything experienced in modern history. Then came another devastating moment. The South Tower collapsed. Millions watched in horror. The scale of destruction seemed impossible. Minutes later, the North Tower collapsed as well. The skyline of New York changed forever. Entire buildings disappeared into clouds of dust and debris. Lives were lost by the thousands. Families were shattered. Communities were traumatized. And a nation entered a period of grief, fear, and anger. As rescue operations began, investigators launched one of the largest criminal and intelligence investigations ever conducted. The FBI mobilized thousands of agents. The CIA intensified global intelligence efforts. International partners shared information. Every clue mattered. Every lead demanded attention. The race to understand the attacks had begun. Quickly, evidence pointed toward Al-Qaeda. The organization, long viewed as a dangerous threat, had carried out an operation of unprecedented scale. For intelligence professionals, the discovery produced mixed emotions. There was determination. There was anger. But there was also frustration. Because many remembered the warnings. Many remembered the reports. Many remembered the signals that now seemed impossible to ignore. In the months and years that followed, investigations examined what had gone wrong. Could agencies have shared information more effectively? Could warning signs have been connected sooner? Could critical opportunities have been recognized? These questions generated intense debate. Some argued the attacks reflected systemic failures. Others emphasized the extraordinary difficulty of preventing complex terrorist plots. The truth was likely somewhere in between. Intelligence work is rarely as simple as it appears in hindsight. After tragedy occurs, patterns become obvious. Before tragedy occurs, those same patterns often remain hidden among overwhelming amounts of information. That reality lies at the heart of the September 11th story. The attacks transformed America. Security policies changed. Intelligence structures evolved. Counterterrorism became a central national priority. Entire government systems were reorganized. Wars were launched. Global politics shifted. The consequences extended far beyond the attacks themselves. Yet even after decades, one question continues to echo through intelligence communities around the world. What if the dots had been connected? Because somewhere inside countless reports, warnings, interviews, and investigations were pieces of a disaster approaching in silence. Pieces that, when viewed separately, appeared incomplete. Pieces that, when viewed together, revealed a catastrophe. September 11th became more than a terrorist attack. It became a lesson about intelligence, uncertainty, and the devastating cost of missed connections. A reminder that threats often emerge gradually before they strike suddenly. A reminder that information alone is not enough. Understanding matters, coordination matters, action matters, and perhaps the most haunting truth of all is this. The warnings existed, the danger was real, but history is not shaped by what people know afterward. History is shaped by what they understand before it is too late.